So okay, it's a fake fashion brand. Just a draft. All I have is an idea, but I'm going to walk you through my prototype creation process. First, we need a logo. I go to Google to find something appropriate. I've picked the Lilita 1 font. I install it and we're good to go. Now we are in Affinity Designer. I've already created the name Back Polo, because my big revolutionary concept is to make polo shirts with the prints on the back. I use the letter L to create bars on the top and bottom of the logo. Now I think I could use the letter I instead. It might be easier. Creating a white version and making some touch-ups and tweaks. I could do this for hours, but it's just an early prototype. Now let's take quick measurements of the back of the polo shirt and cut some HDV. I'm using a vinyl cutter to create my custom polo shirt. Let's go to Cricut Design Space. I choose my bare head design for this project. I'm using a 12 by 24 inch mat and setting the mirror option. And I press continue. My Cricut Maker is ready, but I have to attach the vinyl to the mat. A little braiding and we can cut our bear. Back to the Cricut Design Space to make the logo for the front of the shirt. Again, the same process. This time I use a smaller mat since I don't need the big one. Because the logo is so small, I'm using some leftover scrap of white vinyl. I didn't braid to the mat, so it keeps coming off. Don't be like me. We've managed somehow. Cricut is no longer needed, so I set it aside. Well, now I use the brayer. The weeding is quick and easy. And it's done. Now onto the bear. This one is not as easy and definitely not quick. If I were to start a real brand, I would opt for DTF prints instead of HDV. I create quite complex designs and peeling them off the mat is a lot of fun, but for real production it would be a nightmare. It just takes way too much time. Okay, one last look to make sure I didn't miss anything, and we're ready for heat pressing. So we have a press, a mat, and some baking paper. We'll use the paper a little later. And we have a black polo shirt. Quick ironing to prepare the fabric. Then I place my vinyl sheet on the shirt, adjusting the placement. And we can heat press it. Every part must be pressed. It may look fast, but in reality it takes time because I'm using cold peel vinyl. So after each press I have to wait until it cools down. Now I remove the transparent sheet and heat press again, this time with baking paper. Without it, the press would destroy the print. I do extra pressing because polo shirt fabric is more three-dimensional than regular t-shirts, and I was concerned that it might not stick well. Finally, I use a small press to cover the area of the buttons. The surface was not completely flat because of them, and the print could peel off in those areas. The last step is the logo. A little ironing again. This is another famous polo brand you may have heard of. Not as cool as mine, but I assume they know what they do. I use it to figure out where my logo should be placed on the shirt. And then heat press it. Peel and press again. And that's it, the very first prototype of the biggest fashion hit of 2024. The idea is that someone who passes you by reads the logo and then turns around to see what's on your back. Leave a comment if you would wear it and if you think the idea is any good. Thanks and subscribe.